The grid lined up for the final green light of the 2009 series. Despite Lee Burgess sitting on pole, Alan Price got the jump on him and led into turn 1, ahead of Adam Long, Richard Goddard and Darren Harrison. Daniel Lewis was busy trying to find pace behind a quick Dave Holland, Gavin Dumas and Jason Liddell, whilst Gerard McLeod formed a battle with Rob Rowe for 11th. John Pimble was racing well, ahead of Cass Gallard, Matt McGill and Russell Newell, with a further few seconds back to Dave Wood and Emma Brown, who was driving her skin off to keep Steve Sharman behind her. Norm Vesti was having a great battle with Doug Maitely, a few seconds in front of another great tussle between John Tarrant, Jeff Senior and Ross Firth. Steve Cromer, Daniel Spinks and John Pereira brought up the huge tail. But by the end of lap 2, John Smith, Darren Harrison and Adam Long slipped up the inside of Lee Burgess in a cheeky move around turn 10, and the race was genuinely on. Lee managed to claw back Darren Harrison halfway down the straight, but Adam and John had picked the right line and held out into turn 2. But it was short-lived, with Adam pushing a little too hard over the dogleg and dramatically spinning in front of Lee Burgess and dropping down a few places whilst losing valuable time. Richard Goddard was driving another clean race, holding out Ryan Campbell and Dave Holland for 4th. Whilst further back, Gerard McLeod was still fighting with Rob Rowe, hammer and tong. Lap 6, and Michael Hinrichs goes off into the dirt at turn 2 in clouds of dust, forcing Steve Sharman and many others to drive blind for a few seconds. Unfortunately, this ends his campaign for the weekend, but everyone else got through unscathed. About the same time, John Pimble retires with mechanical problems, reducing the field to 29. But there were still many battles going on into the last couple of laps. John Smith was fighting with honour until a momentary lapse around the Suttons saw a full spin, dropping him back to 11th from 3rd and blowing his chance of a podium. 2 laps to go, and Lee Burgess finally hauls in Alan Price. Whilst Adam Long is making excellent progress through the field, up from 9th to 6th after his earlier spin. David Holland was holding out Gavin Dumas, Jason Liddell and Daniel Lewis for 7th, whilst John Smith now headed Gerard McLeod and Rob Rowe for 10th. And that's how it ended, with Lee Burgess coming from behind to take the win in style, and with it a clean sweep for the weekend. A superb drive again from Alan Price saw him take 2nd, whilst Darren Harrison hung on for an excellent 3rd. Richard Goddard held off a great drive from Ryan Campbell, ahead of Adam Long, David Holland, Gavin Dumas to take 4th place, whilst Daniel Lewis came home in front of John Smith, Gerard McLeod and Rob Rowe to take 10th. Emma Brown drove brilliantly to have a best finish of the meet, pipping Steve Sharman, Norm Vesti and Doug Maitely, whilst John Tarrant, Jeff Senior and Ross Firth led home Steve Cromer and Damien Spinks for the minor placings.